Hello, and well, it's almost afternoon, so good afternoon. And it's a great sunny day in Seoul, and I'm very, very honored to be talking to Pedro today. Just to recap, we were at BUIDL Europe that kicked off the start of the year, and we had a great conversation titled Make Wallets Great Again. And that was fun. And I remember we were talking, and then we were talking about, okay, WalletConnect, will you have a token? And you just launched yesterday, so congratulations to Pedro. Can you talk us through what's been happening?
Yeah, thanks. Honestly, this is an amazing event, and BUIDL Europe was just a warm-up, and I'm really glad to be here. Honestly, the food is great, so it was a great excuse to come back to Seoul. And yeah, yesterday we launched WCT, the WalletConnect token. It was a big milestone for us because after 7 years of building this network, we now actually have a decentralized network with 16 node operators, all incentivized with the tokenomics that we described in the white paper in September. So yeah, this was like a long 12 months work, but publicly speaking, it was 6 months because that's when people actually learn about the token.
Yeah, wow. And how special it is to be speaking directly to you at the BUIDL Asia stage in Seoul. So you picked the right timing, or whether you picked it, but it happened really well. So yeah, I mean, wallets. Let's talk about it, because now that you have a token, I mean, why the incentive to have a token and a chain?
Well, I think to go back a little bit, the reason I started working on wallets is because I was working in fintech, and when you're building a bank or a neobank, you're basically building an experience on top of the financial rails in the traditional finance. So when you control that experience, you kind of control how the finance works. So when I started working in Ethereum and blockchain in general, wallets really attracted me because that's the biggest impact that we had to actually build a better on-chain experience. But now, if you actually have a bunch of infrastructure that is centralized, it kind of created a lot of problems because yes, you built a better user experience, but now you actually became the gatekeeper. And this WalletConnect token was really important for us to decentralize the network because we have grown so much with 40 million users now that we wanted to make sure that this was a global network and it was truly decentralized.
Wow, 40 million users is a huge achievement. So congratulations and well done for onboarding that many people to crypto. And we're on the road to the first billion. So I mean, it's in the title. We're talking about, are wallets even necessary? Where are you at with the development of that? Will people need to use wallets? Will they even feel like they're using one?
I think the interesting thing when we talk about wallets is the semantics. A lot of people confuse wallets with an address on chain, and that's why a lot of people would say, my app has 1 million wallets, but realistically it has 1 million addresses that are interacting with your app. It might actually have only 100,000 because a lot of these wallets actually have multiple addresses. So what we need to kind of distinguish here is that the wallet is the interface that controls your account on chain. So are they really necessary? I think today the quick answer is yes. But if we look 5 to 10 years from now, are wallets really going to be necessary? It's a very nuanced question because we need to kind of break down what the wallet does and what the wallet maybe shouldn't do. And right now what the wallet does is manage your accounts, but it also has this very annoying experience of having to approve every single transaction. And I think that's something that we really want to solve, to kind of reduce the number of clicks it takes to interact on chain.
So on the journey of solving it, there's been, over the years, account abstraction, and then, so can you just talk us through how that's going? And then next thing is also give us an overview of smart sessions. What even does that mean for people who don't know what that means? But start with account abstraction. Talk us through the development, really, of getting to this point.
So account abstraction is just a new name for a technology that has been developed for a long time. In Ethereum, even as early as 2018, people were thinking about how can we make the experience smoother, because right now we have a couple of problems. We have to pay for gas for every time you transact on chain. You have to sign a transaction. And you also have this liability of if you lose your seed phrase or your secret phrase, you lose your wallet. Account abstraction tries to solve that, and it had kind of slowly developed since 2018, and it was only until 2022 when we started seeing a lot of development. And I think the reason for that is because once Ethereum moved to proof of stake, all of a sudden everyone had a little bit more time to think about other problems. And now we actually were thinking about solving the user experience with account abstraction. Let's try to remove gas. Let's try to remove signing approvals. Let's try to remove this one key to control the accounts. And this is something that WalletConnect, together with all of its wallet partners, are working to solve. And one of the solutions that we come up was called Smart Sessions.
Okay, so Smart Sessions is like part of the solution, like it's on the journey of solving the solution. What is Smart Sessions? And yeah, what have you been doing? And if you can name some of the partners you've been working on and some of the products that they've been, applying this to, do share.
Yeah, so as part of account abstraction, we described 3 problems, like the gas, the signatures, and the key management. So there's a lot of companies working on key management. They build like these networks called MPC networks where you can distribute the key across multiple servers so you never lose the key. Or you can even have like these social recoveries where you can like distribute the key across friends and family, and then if something happens, they can reconstruct the key. And this is something that WalletConnect doesn't want to tackle. We want to be very focused in the wallet connection. And even with the gas problem, like the Ethereum Foundation is actually going to do a massive upgrade within the next month. Let's hope so, that it happens. And then we actually will have like the gas problem very much solved. What's not solved is the actual signing approvals. This is something that it's a very difficult problem. And the reason it's difficult is because the signatures are technically an off-chain component, right? It's happening outside of the blockchain. And that's why there's this term that's called EOA, like an account is an EOA, which means externally owned account, because then that actual functionality is controlled either on a mobile app or on a desktop app. And how can you actually delegate that experience to sign less? And that's what Smart Sessions is all about. It's about delegating the power to sign transactions to a third party. And the WalletConnect network right now is not only decentralized with 60 node operators, but it also has a lot of adoption from wallets. 600 wallets today use WalletConnect, and this controls basically the majority of traffic across Ethereum and Solana, Cosmos, Polkadot, and all of these wallets, through one upgrade, we're able to create this delegation framework that we call Smart Sessions that would allow people to not have to approve every single transaction when you connect to an app.
Oh, that's impressive. So can you just name just a few of the wallets? Because I'm sure people here and people listening would be like, oh, they might not even know they're using WalletConnect, but they are. So, yeah. Yeah,
so we have a lot of different categories where WalletConnect has kind of like started. The most predominant one is the mobile one. So even if you use MetaMask, especially on mobile, like that has been powered by WalletConnect. Trust Wallet is also a big one. OKX, BitGet, SafePal, Token Pockets. All of these wallets that you are well known in this space are all using WalletConnect to build a better user experience when connecting to external apps. But even on the institutional side, we've seen a lot of growth through Safe, which is like a smart contract wallet or a multi-sig wallet. And Fireblocks was also providing like a 2 out of 2 signature for institutional use cases. They also use WalletConnect for both Ethereum and Solana.
Oh, that's really impressive. And you know, there's so much talk in our industry about onboarding the next billion and bringing mass adoption. And it's just impressive to see that WalletConnect underpins all of the adoption. Looking ahead, what do you? I mean, what's next with Smart Sessions? And yeah, what's ahead for WalletConnect now that you have a token as well?
Yeah, when you try to reinvent the wheel, it's really hard, right? Because wallets, as they are, they have existed since 2009, technically, right? It's like it all started with Bitcoin. You create the secret phrase and you have a wallet. and that's it, right? But the problem now is that there's a lot more wallets now, and we have to kind of like change them. So this migration path for going from we have a secret phrase to maybe we don't need a secret phrase at all, and on top of that, you don't even need to approve transactions. It's not even a technical problem sometimes. It's almost like a mindset shift. Like even for developers who are very close to these technologies, developing wallets, it takes a little bit of time for them to get used to these new concepts. And this is why account abstraction has taken so long, because there's a lot of skepticism, there's a lot of concerns, and everyone is very worried about whether the design goes a little bit to the left or to the right, and then there's a little bit of politics happening. And right now we even have like, within smart sessions, there's two schools of thought. Like there's the people who say smart sessions should work as if they're like sub-accounts. So that means that every time you connect to an app, you're actually generating a sub-account that's associated with your main account, which I think it's really interesting. There's another school of thought that says actually smart sessions are just an additional key. So you're just adding more keys to your wallet, but it's still the same main account, but just with more signers. And just having these two like teams, so to speak, work together is really hard. And this is just within the Ethereum space. Then you go into the Solana space, and their understanding of smart sessions is completely different. And the WalletConnect network has to find a way to make them all work together. And one of the main milestones for us as well is that now that we launched the token yesterday, we need to now actually turn on fees. And that's going to be another 1 year or 2 year project to actually turn on fees. And one big component is the way smart sessions are going to be designed is going to tightly coupled to how the fees are going to be designed. So this is a little bit a limbo that we're now, where if there is a particular design around smart sessions, it's going to influence the fees. If there's a particular design on fees, it's going to influence smart sessions. And we have to kind of fix this like chicken and eggs problem.
Wow, it seems like you've just achieved one milestone by launching a token, but now you're in the next phase, and sounds like you've got your work cut out for you. You talk a lot about explaining to different groups how they should be building and communicating. How do you really do that on a day-to-day level? Is it just a lot of communication, a lot of meeting with developers and folks?
I don't try to like undermine my work, but like if you see the same way Trump coordinated an attack through a signal group, like coordinating like wallets, it's very similar. It's a bunch of Telegram groups that are together, right? Like it's surprising how much human society is developed on chats. Like that is like what we are, just very social beings, just on group chats, talking and changing the world. Like that is what we are. And now we're actually trying to formalize it a little bit because, it was a little bit dynamic of like who is who, and some people come and they go. So now as part of the WalletConnect governance, we actually had the token holders vote on a governance structure, and we call it the UX console. So right now we're almost finalizing the first batch of members that are going to be part of what we call the UX console. This is a diverse set of group of wallet partners, SDK partners, and node operators. So all of the key pieces of the WalletConnect network are going to work together and actually have a mission to actually design this together. So now there's going to be a little bit more accountability rather than some people join a chat, leave a chat. There's going to be an actual governance process to actually design this.
Wow, so that's kind of what this token enables, really, a governance process to coordinate people. And I really like what you said about how, a lot of the world's organizations are run on chat groups, and then some more formal Slack groups, which are still organizations, still chat groups. It's impressive what you're doing and what you're building and how you really like in the weeds and in the trenches. I mean, we've just talked quite technically about the different layers that you're dealing with. And actually, when Erica opened BUIDL Asia, she spoke about we're in the backdrop of Seoul and South Korea, and how I guess 80 to 90% of trading in Korea is retail. And even now we're speaking, there might be new entrants, but they're not going to know what the EOA is. They might not even see it. They might not even, because they probably onboard onto Bitstamp or one of Bybit or Upbit here. And so, what is the experience going to be like for them? What would you want their experience to be as well when they onboard?
Well, it's really interesting because Korea is a very special market, because usually what you end up finding is there's a lot of wallets out there, and there's like retail on the exchanges, and then there's a lot of institutional. And in here is actually the opposite. Like, there's not that much institutional, and there's not that much wallets, and it's purely retail exchanges. So what I found in the last week that I was here is that, obviously, similar to when I came to Korea Blockchain Week, every time I talk to people, like, I have to kind of start from the basics of like, how does a wallet work? Because everyone is so comfortable using Upbit and BitHum that they actually haven't had the experience and the problems that WalletConnect is trying to solve, right? It's been 7 years building this, and things have improved a lot, but they actually haven't been burned by bad experience through wallets. Like, one of the partners that we actually have in the Korean market is Burrito Wallet, who has done an amazing job onboarding people in Korea to actually have like WalletConnect, but it's still nothing compared to the Upbit and BitHum markets. And I think eventually, I don't know how possible that is, I'm not familiar with Korean politics, but similarly to how OKX, Binance, and Bybit launched wallets, eventually Upbit and BitHum will also launch their wallets, and that's going to be a huge jump on adoption. And I think then the Korean market is going to really understand, oh, this is what Pedro was talking about, why we need WalletConnect.
Yeah, and you heard it here on BUIDL Asia 2025. Right, yeah. No, that's fascinating. And so what are you particularly looking forward to seeing? And also just, with the token, what do you want, I guess, in terms of the utility of the token, besides it being governance, but what do you want kind of the Korean market, but also the global market to know about why WCT token?
I think, first of all, what I'm really excited is that we actually launched the token now. Like, this was
congrats.
like so much effort. And the worst part about it is that I started in crypto as an open source developer. So I was very much used to doing everything in the open, very publicly. And with this token, it was really hard to keep secrets and like not expose when the token is going to be launched. And I just wanted to tell everyone. So the fact that it's out is just, now I can just talk openly about everything, and I go back to building open source. And in this open source building energy, I really am excited about not only getting closer to the UX console and solve these problems around smart sessions, but eventually what I want to see is like the actual tokenomics starting to roll out, and people start realizing that what WalletConnect is actually building is what I call like the Visa of Web3. Because the way Visa and MasterCard works is that you actually have a merchant and a consumer, but then the merchant has a bank, and then the consumer has another bank, and then they have to actually exchange funds. So if I come here with my Portuguese Visa card to the Korean merchant, how is the Portuguese bank going to send money to the Korean bank? Visa is actually the middle layer between these two that actually enable this interoperability. And WalletConnect is no different than that, you know? Like, you have the app has its own like smart contracts on the blockchain, the user has its own accounts on the blockchain, and they might even use different blockchains. And WalletConnect is just there in the middle, like acting as a middleware where you don't need to understand how the wallet works, you don't need to understand how the app works. WalletConnect will be the magic behind it that just interfaces that. And on top of that, the tokenomics will also create a very similar pattern to Visa, where for every transaction that happens on the Visa network, the merchant pays to the bank, and then the bank pays to the network, and then eventually goes to the actual user as cashback. So in the, I don't know, 5 to 10 years from now, when we actually have fees and rewards all built in, we might even see WalletConnect cashback. So every time you use WalletConnect, you actually make money or earn miles or loyalty points, because we actually have like a very healthy tokenomics. So launching this token was literally just the beginning of another 7 years ahead for me.
Wow, again, congratulations. And I like what you said, that WalletConnect would be like the Visa for crypto. I mean, a final question. We are in the Asia-Pacific region, in South Korea. How are you seeing adoption in this region now that we're here, right? Where do you see it in the next 5 years in terms of adoption? Because you work with global partners, you work with like global exchanges, and you just mentioned a few ones that are based in Asia. What are you seeing?
Well, for me, it has been really great because not only the data points have shown that like we actually have like way more growth in Asia than like North America and Europe. And this is actually very easily explainable because there's two specific components of WalletConnect that actually are very aligned with Asian culture. One of them is QR codes. Like before COVID, if you show the QR code to a European or an American, they will be like, what is this gibberish? Like they really were actually kind of like weirded out by those QR codes. Only after COVID, they started getting used to it. But in Asia, QR codes have been forever. Like, it's nothing new. So when WalletConnect actually had QR codes, it was actually, very familiar. Another thing is the European and American markets are very desktop heavy. So a lot of people are on their laptops and they use desktop a lot. So when I try to explain Europeans and Americans about mobile is the future and technically it already is the present, they were like, yeah, but I do all my crypto on desktop. And then you go to Asia and people will be like, why would I even own a laptop? What's the point?
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
And so for me to have like WalletConnect focused on mobile wallets and QR codes, for Asian communities, it was like, oh, this just makes sense. Like, actually, this is how most apps work, so why wouldn't crypto wallets work the same? So I actually see a lot of growth in there, and even when we launched the token, we had to explain this is how the WalletConnect network works, this is its benefits, and the Asian communities were like, yeah, obviously, this should be. Why didn't people get this before? So I actually kind of like traveling here more because it's easier to explain WalletConnect to the other side of the world.
That's great. I like that you simplified it to QR codes and mobile because a lot of Asia, even Southeast Asia, just huge populations, mainly on mobile. You're right. So mobile QR code driving the adoption of crypto. We've come to the end. Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, obviously, yesterday was a big day, and I'm just very relieved that the token is out. But I always said this, prior to the token launch, that this is literally just the beginning. The actual fee or monetization of a decentralized network is not an easy feat. Even if you actually look at CoinMarketCap and actually try to actually see how many of these tokens actually have revenue versus the ones that don't, very few tokens actually have achieved that milestone. And for me, that's the biggest achievement of them all. Launching a token, there's 2,000, 5,000, I don't know. You just go to CoinMarketCap and see how many tokens exist. It was a massive achievement, but this is just becoming a crypto project. Actually monetizing the network and actually have not only the people who have been working with WalletConnect for the last 7 years, not only work because they believe in it, but because there's an actual financial incentive to it. That's for me what I will feel like I finally finished my mission. This is something that when I started, I thought it was a 6-month project. Was completely naive, and now I just realized that I have way more work ahead of me.
Wow, I just want to say it's just such a privilege to see Pedro here speaking to us after launching a token. I think it's no small feat. I know how much founders really, just put so much effort into this launch, and there's so much, riding on it as well. And also in a challenging time to launch it. So congratulations again. And can we all just please give Pedro a round of applause?
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pedro.